ISO 8 is a progression system often overlooked in Marvel Strike Force, and generally we see how overlooked this system is when it comes to alliance events that require spending Isotope 8 energy. So, if you want to see your contribution looking like this, when currently it looks a little bit like this, then join me in this video as we go over Isotope 8, explain how it affects your account progress and why you should be spending your Isotope 8 energy, not just to help your alliance, but to help your account growth. What is going on, everyone? I'm BPG and welcome back to the channel. If this is your first time here, I make content for Marvel Strike Force. So if you like what you see, why not hit that like button, subscribe and comment down below. Love to hear from you. So a little bit of an overview of the video. We're going to go over what is ISO 8. We're also going to go over the daily energy, where it comes from, how much we get, and also I'm going to give you my strategy as to what I do in regards to Isotope 8 energy on a daily basis. We're going to show you the benefits of ISO 8 to your roster, and that's not just the benefits to the characters, but also the benefits to your gold balance that you can have. So what is Isotope 8? Well, it's an important progression system, and I want to say it's a sideways progression system. It does go vertical as well, but it's more of a sideways progression system. With what it does, it allows you some flexibility in what you do with your squads. So it unlocks at commander level 55, and that's when we're able to start farming the Isotope 8 campaign. There are 5 different types of crystal: health, damage, armor, resist, and focus. These crystals are available for each of the classes, so blaster, brawler, controller, protector, and support. So overall there are 25 different crystals available of the Isotope 8, and they come in 2 types. They come in green, which is Isotope 8 level 1, and blue, which is Isotope 8 level 2. And you can find the Isotope 8 level 2 blue crystals in the Isotope 8 hard chapters, which unlock when you are commander level 80, I believe. I'm going to go a little bit over the Isotope 8 classes and just a brief overview of them. So the one that most people will look at is the Striker class. Put a little bit of a blurb here. Strikers have increased damage, and they can basically follow up their attacks if the target has a vulnerable effect on it. The amount of damage that happens depends on the striker's power and Isotope 8 level. This Isotope 8 damage increase also increases bleed damage. So any characters that have a bleed effect are really good generally as strikers. At blue ISO 8 level 5, strikers do even more damage because they deal 15% of their max health to the primary target if that target has 2 or more vulnerables on them, and it will then heal the striker for 50% of that damage dealt. So if you deal 1,000 damage to your opponent, you will then heal 500 damage back off of your striker. So really, really good. The next one is Raider. Now, this is the second highest in sort of power giving, and this is because Raiders have an increased chance to land a critical attack, and when they do land a critical attack, they also have increased critical damage. If they crit as well, they will apply a vulnerable effect to the target. The Raider is a good class for characters who have AoE attacks or chain attacks or attack many targets simultaneously. However, if your character has a ability that does ability block or stun, so a good example of this currently in the game is Ironheart Mark II. She would be a brilliant Raider because her attacks are, apart from her basic, her attacks are AoE wide, so she targets multiple people. However, she has a stun on her ultimate that you really, really want to land, and so I find Skirmisher to be the better ISO 8 class for her. Speaking of Skirmisher, they're next up. Now, Skirmishers apply vulnerable effect on hit, so always apply vulnerable, and this applies to assists and counters as well. A really good example of this would be someone like Nebula in Infinity Watch. she will assist. She has the assist now mechanic, and she will assist everyone that goes. That also works really well with strikers, because if you've got someone like Gamora, who you would have as a striker, and you hit the enemy, Nebula will then follow up with the assist, and because she's assisting and she's a skirmisher, she'll put a vulnerable on that target, which then Gamora can use to make a second striker attack. When this Isotope 8 is leveled up, they can clear positive effects from the target that have vulnerable. Basically, this is needed for any character who you want to place important debuffs on the enemy team or remove buffs from the enemy team. And at Blue ISO 8 level 5, instead of clearing that positive effect, it flips it to bleed. So again, a really, really good ability. Then we come to the two sort of lesser used Isotope 8 classes. Striker, Raider, Skirmisher, they tend to be the most used. Lesser used class is now Healer. Now, healers heal the lowest HP ally at the beginning of each turn, and the quantity of that healing goes up as you progress through the Isotope 8 levels. At Blue ISO level 5, this ability will also heal if your primary target hit is vulnerable. So if you have an attack, like for example with Squirrel Girl or someone like that, and the primary target you attack has vulnerable, and she's a healer, she'll also do another heal upon that attack, as well as healing on turn. And the final class is Fortifier. Now, Fortifiers place barrier on themselves on spawn, and the size of that depends on their health pool. It's something that generally is ignored. However, Fortifiers are there for characters that need to be there for as long as possible. So a good example of this is pre-taunt characters. I wouldn't recommend it on all pre-taunt characters, but generally if a character's got pre-taunt, having barrier on them can help them stick around. And if that taunt isn't stripped, it means that your opponent's just continually attacking into that pre-taunt, meaning your other 4 characters are good to go and attack your opponent and as they please. Another one that I've put Fortifier on at the moment is Zombie Juggernaut. Now, the reason for me putting Fortifier on Zombie Juggernaut is at the moment we've got him at very low stars, -3 yellow, 3 red. His ability means he needs to stick around so that he then gets that revive, because he gets his revive from gaining charges from other undying characters dying off. So things like Greg and Zombie Iron Man, every time they die, he gains a charge. When he's got 5 charges, if he then dies, he comes back and respawns. Another thing to point out with Fortifiers are at Blue ISO level 5, if they've got barrier, they gain 40% drain. So the drain mechanic is a really good mechanic. Basically, when you hit a target, you will heal yourself for a percentage. And in this case, with the Blue ISO level 5, you will heal yourself for 40% of the damage that you deal to the primary target. Daily energy. So this is what we do. I've put this in some of my math videos, but here it is, big and blown up. So energy over time, we get 360 energy over the course of 24 hours. That is just basically, if you're not topped off, if you're not maxed out at 150 energy, Isotope 8 energy, that is what the game will continue to produce for you over the course of 24 hours. We get 3 free refreshes of 80 energy per day. That's 240 energy. I've put 1 number 50 core refreshes because in the daily objectives, there are 2 missions, both of which are completed on the streak. So if you've got your daily streak on, you don't actually have to do this. But the arena and there is the villains campaign, both of those give 30 energy credits or Isotope 8 energy credits. So you can do 1 refresh a day. So out of that, you'll get another 120 energy, and we get 50 energy from the web milestone for spending 50 cores. That gives us a total of 770 energy over the course of a day as standard. What made me make this video is the Alliance events, where we see that to be an area where contribution towards that event is pretty poor from a lot of players. So what I personally do with my Isotope 8 energy is I will save those energy packs until I have the 500 of 500. So that will take me 10 days. Once I have those 10 days done, I can then spend one of those energy packs every day, giving me this 770 energy over the course of a day to farm the Isotope 8 campaigns. Once we get our campaign, you know, when we have to start spending cores on Isotope 8 energy for these alliance events and solo events that require it, I've got the 500 there, so I've got myself a couple of days worth of free refreshes where I don't even have to spend my power cores for. And then when I do eventually have to spend my power cores, I'm only actually spending 150 cores a day because of that, you know, daily 50 energy pack refresh that we get from the daily objectives. So by doing this 770 energy a day, what does that get us? Well, here's a little chart that I've made going over both the normal nodes and the hard nodes. The difference between normal and hard is what it gives you. So the gold and the green ions and the XP towards leveling is all the same. What differs is the last part. So on the normal nodes, you will get a basic ISO 8 orb fragment, which will then convert into basic ISO 8 orbs, which will then convert to more basic green level 1 Isotope 8 crystals. On the hard nodes, you get the blue level 1 ions. Now, these are the ions that you need to put the Isotope 8 on your characters. And it's quite important because you do get a lot of these blue level 1 ions. The drop rates on the blue Isotope 8 of the hard nodes is quite poor. So the crystals themselves, so what you're probably going to need to be doing is using the store and buying some of those Isotope 8s out of the store. So daily, this is going to give us just spending 710 energy a day on the Isotope 8 farming will give you nearly 62,000 gold a day. Doesn't sound a lot. It doesn't take a lot of time though to do this. So time and resource income daily is all right. Yearly though, that gives you 22 million gold coming into your account, which is enough to take your character pretty much from level 1 to level 95. That means that if you're doing it and your alliance mate isn't doing this 700 energy a day, you're going to be able to bring up one more character from your roster, which is going to make your TCP grow quicker than what theirs is. And that's a good thing, right? That's helping your account as a whole. So what effect does this have on a character? What effect does Isotope 8 have overall on a character? So I've taken here a level 95 Gear Tier 18, 7 yellow, 7 red with 25% Stark Tech. Now the Stark Tech is what you do your alliance donations for. It gives you levels, which allows you to power up your different classes. And this is with no ISO 8. So this is as maxed out as you can get. And the reason why I've done it as maxed out as you can get is because the benefits as you go down the scale actually is greater. So the percentage benefits that you get is actually greater. So this is Icarus, level 95, Gear Tier 18, 7 yellow, 7 red, Stark Tech 25%, no ISO 8. And this is what we get. So we get 297,135 power with a base health of 1.136 million, 78, nearly 79,000 damage. Let's call it 79,000 for argument's sake. 47,000 armor, 15, nearly 16,000 focus, and 20,000 resistance. And this is the after. So this is Icarus at level 95, Gear Tier 18, 7 yellow, 7 red, 25% Stark Tech with blue ISO level 5. So this is the top of the tops. So we've gone from the 200 power to 400 power, 297 power to 400 power. We're at 1.5 million health now, so we gained health. We're at 106,000 damage, so we gained damage. We're at 55, nearly 56,000 armor, so we gained a little bit of armor there as well. 24,000 resistance and 18,000 focus, so we've gone up in all stats there. But what overall, let's break it down the nuts and bolts, what does that give us? Well, that Striker ISO 8 at level 5 has given us a 26.4% increase in power. Now, I did a little bit of a thing on this and did it at 7 yellow, 7 red. Blue ISO 5 compared to 3 diamonds. So I took the blue ISO 5 off, put 3 diamonds on, and the blue ISO 5 actually was a bigger increase in power to my character than what the diamonds were. So having 3 diamonds, which are incredibly hard to get hold of at the minute, especially if you're a free-to-play player like myself, they're incredibly hard to get hold of. Blue ISO 8 level 5, if you're in the right alliance and doing the right raids, you're getting and doing all right in the milestone events, you're getting a lot of this blue ISO level 5 ions. You'll be able to bring your characters up to blue ISO level 5. Like, once you've done Apocalypse, blue ISO level 5 is no longer really a bottleneck, because you only want to then be putting it on the characters that are really important, like Icarus, like Hang, Apocalypse, Super Skrull if you get him. All of these characters you want to have blue ISO level 5 because of what it does to their stats, more than just because you're trying to get it on characters to go and get Big Boy Apocalypse. So my conclusion for this, ISO 8 is really important, not only for your alliance, for alliance events, allowing them to get a few extra milestones in these events, but also a sizable increase in stats to your characters, as well as adding some additional abilities and synergies to your teams. So let me know, are you going to do more in your next Alliance ISO 8 event? Do you already do this and find it a real benefit? Let me know in the comments down below. Also, if this video has helped you, please consider liking and subscribing, and even hitting that notification bell so you know when my next video goes up. I'll see you guys in the next video, and until then, stay positive.